As a reminder, you can adjust the mic for different heights. Okay. Thanks. Y'all just let me know. Good morning. I'm Stacy Wood, the county's communication manager, and today is Monday, October 28th. For today's community briefing, we'll be joined by Matt Benke, External Affairs with FEMA, along with City of Asheville City Manager Deborah Campbell, Water Public Information Officer Clay Chandler, and Mark Metheny, City of Asheville Development Services Director. And first, we'll start with remarks from County Manager Avril Pender. Avril?
Good morning. I want to start with an update on our community care stations with showers, laundry, and more. These are all going to continue operating in their current locations. We're making adjustments to the community care station at the Swannanoa Ingalls, so you'll see some services moving around. But don't worry, a whole new one is being stood up in its place. And while we don't anticipate disruption in services, if you're looking to use the community care station in Swannanoa on Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday morning, you may want to go to the one at Owen Pool to avoid any possible interruptions in all the services. We want to thank our partners, Pratt and Whitney, for their support and resources at the Swannanoa Ingalls Community Care Station. As a reminder, other stations are located at Home Store Parking Lot, Big Lots, Ingbrook Mall, Buncombe County Sports Park, Bethel United Methodist, Swannanoa Ingalls, Swannanoa Owen Pool, Morgan Hill Baptist Church. An update from our courts. Our court partners wanted us to share that the Buncombe County Courthouse is open for regular business hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bathrooms are now operational. However, like most of the county, the boil water advisory applies. So bottled drinking water is available in the lobby. Criminal and civil district and superior administrative courts are operational. All juries are excused through the end of October. If you have an attorney, you should reach out to your attorney for information about your case. For details on your criminal case, contact the district court's office at 828-259-3410 or the clerk's office at 828-259-3400 for more information. For civil superior court cases, all jury trials scheduled in October will be continued. Jury trials will resume November 1st, 2024. Hearings on motion will be held as previously scheduled, unless a new date is given by the trial court administrator. For attorneys, parties in civil cases that have no access to the internet and wish to have their hearings conducted via WebEx, a space will be made available in the courthouse with a computer connection to conduct remote hearing via WebEx. For questions regarding these or other issues, please contact the trial court coordinator, John Rogers, at john.d.rogers@nccourts.org, or you can call 828-259-6479. As a reminder, although the courts are open, individuals may wish to utilize the electronic filing option, which is available at nccourts.gov under eCourts. Filing deadlines have been extended to today, October the 28th. Filing deadlines will not be extended after October 28th. Our court partners also wanted us to warn our community about a sophisticated scam targeting residents in our area, claiming the victims failed to report to jury duty, and there's a federal warrant for their arrest. How that scam works is the scammer contact you by phone or email, claiming you failed to report for jury duty. They falsely state there's a federal warrant for your arrest. To make it look legitimate, they may send a fake arrest warrant with real names of North Carolina federal law enforcement officers and prosecutors. They demand payment to avoid jail time, often requesting payment via a virtual currency or a kiosk. Scammers may manipulate caller ID to make it seem like the call is coming from a courthouse or a government agency. Victims are sometimes asked to bring a receipt to a law enforcement agency for filing. Please remember, legitimate arrest warrants are never emailed or texted. They are served in person by law enforcement or court officials. No law enforcement agency will ever demand payment over the phone. Be cautious and skeptical of unsolicited calls asking for personal information or payment. Be wary of unsolicited phone calls, emails, or texts. Do not give money or personal information to anyone you don't know. If you receive such a call or email, hang up immediately and contact local authorities. If you believe you've been a victim of a jury duty scam or other fraudulent schemes, file a report with the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center at www.ic3.gov. As a reminder, our water and food distribution sites are open and available. We have water and meals ready to eat at the following locations, and these are open every day: Helene Bowling Alley, Black Mountain Ingalls, Swananoa Ingalls, Linwood Crump, Shiloh Community Center, Pat Square Park, Buncombe County Sports Park, Fairview Ingalls. Our early voting locations, this is the last week where you can go out and vote at any early voting location. Early voting is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. through Saturday, November 2nd at 3 p.m. The locations for early voting: Black Mountain Library, East Asheville Library, Anchor Candler Library, Fairview Library, Leicester Community Center, South Buncombe Library, UNCA Health and Counseling Center, Weaverville Community Center, Dr. Wesley Grant Southside Center, and West Asheville Library. An update on our trash and recycling pickup. Today and Tuesday, Waste Pro will operate normal routes for household trash and recycling. Residents should utilize the transfer station or landfill if Waste Pro is unable to access them. However, they have been successful at reaching most of the Monday and Tuesday routes. From our cable provider Spectrum is now about 97% restored in Buncombe County, with approximately 2,900 accounts remaining offline. They are working to estimate timelines for those remaining offline based on their current progress. So we will get an update from them hopefully soon to let you know when they anticipate all accounts being back online. The Buncombe County Sports Bar has partially reopened between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. This opening includes the dog park, community garden, fields 1, 2, 8, and 9, and the playground area. It is important to note that the disc golf course and walking path remain closed due to tree damage and erosion issues. As a reminder, we distribute water, operate a community care center with showers and laundry, and a mobile FEMA disaster recovery center is also at this location, which impacts the opening of the park. There will be no park shelter reservations at this time. The only other county parks open are Hominy Valley Park and North Buncombe Fields. The town of Black Mountain invites the community to join together on Tuesday, October 29th at 6 p.m. in Town Square, 100 State Street, for our community reflection and remembrance program to recognize and honor the grief and loss due to Hurricane Helene as a town, as a valley, as a region. The program will feature remarks from community leaders, readings, and music as we continue our journey of healing. A candlelight vigil will take place at the conclusion of the program. The program will be live streamed on the Black Mountain Town's official Facebook page at facebook.com/Tongue of Black Mountain for those who cannot attend in person. Reminder that one Buncombe call center at 828-250-6100 is ready to answer any calls with Hurricane Helene questions. Starting this Wednesday, the one Buncombe call center will be open every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, that number is 828-250-6100. And last Friday, there was a question from the media regarding how many major or destroyed structures we had, and if we can break that out by residential and commercial. For major damage, and this is as of 10/27, so these numbers will change. But for major damage on residential, that was 601. And for destroyed residential, 294 units. For commercial, major damage is 241 units and destroyed 153. And with that, I'll turn it over to Matt Benke from FEMA.
Thank you, ma'am. So good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Benke with FEMA. So just want to say we are here with our partners to assist, and FEMA will still be here as long as it takes. The best ways to register with FEMA assistance are online at disasterassistance.gov. That's disaster assistance, all one word. And you can also call 1-800-621-3362. As of this morning, more than 116,000 applications have been approved for more than 184 million statewide in North Carolina. Here in Buncombe County, over 47,000 applications have been approved for more than $66 million. That is money being paid directly to individuals and survivors with immediate needs and repairs for their homes. And I want to be clear, that money is a grant. FEMA provides grants, not loans. So very clear, this is a grant from FEMA. Additionally, this weekend, a new disaster recovery center has opened in the Fairview area to help with FEMA applications. That center is located at Cane Creek Pool, 590 Lower Brush Creek Road in Fairview, North Carolina. Hours are 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. In addition to the Cane Creek Pool, a mobile disaster recovery center is operating at the Buncombe County Sportsplex at 58 APAC Drive, Asheville, North Carolina. And that will be open today through Halloween. So I just want to be clear again, to register with FEMA, disasterassistance.gov and 1-800-621-3362. Thanks.
And now I'd like to introduce Deborah Campbell, Asheville City Manager.
Thank you, Stacey, and good morning. My name is Deborah Campbell, and I serve as the City Manager, City of Asheville. As usual, I want to start by thanking everyone in the community for your continued support to help us recover from this devastating storm. We are now on day 33 of our emergency response and recovery effort. The City of Asheville continues to focus on 4 major priority areas: addressing the basic needs of our community with the focus on our most vulnerable populations and the broader community, restoring water service, community safety and security, and debris collection. However, we've also added 2 additional areas of focus to include temporary housing and economic recovery and financial assistance. Today, our City of Asheville update will include announcements about water distribution and mill sites, details on city services that have resumed, and resources that will soon to be available in terms of financial assistance. And I will be giving that update, an update on potable water restoration by Clay Chandler, our public information officer for our Water Resources Department. And there were questions about damage assessment results for the city of Asheville at our last briefing. And Mark Matheny, our Director of Development Services Department, will update you on those efforts. We'll start off with our update from Clay Chandler with our Water Resources Department. Clay.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. All right, so Water Resources has a really big week this week. The turbidity curtains are on site. They are being installed as we speak. State utility contractors from Monroe is handling that for us. And once the curtains are installed, Estate Management Services from Brunswick, Georgia will do the actual dosing of the aluminum sulfate and the caustic soda. This is a different company than the first round. They have a little bit bigger boat and hopefully can get every area that needs to be covered a little more quickly. Okay, so we have, that's North Fork, that's the treatment plant, that's the reservoir under clear times. This is roughly where the curtain will be installed. We call that the secondary application zone. It's about 70 foot wide and starts about 100 feet from the shore. The intake is included in the middle of that. That area in total is about 174,000 square feet, or about 4 acres. It will take 1 full tote of alum to cover that area, not quite a full tote of caustic for that area. To give you an idea, those are the totes. They hold about 300 gallons a piece or so. So one full tote of alum for that curtain area, like 0.87 of caustic for that same area. There are the totes. And this is what the entire dosage area looks like. Those outside zones that you see start 600 feet away from the curtain and expand out to 900 feet away from the curtain. 600 feet away from the intake and expand about 900 feet away from the intake. And there's about 100-foot buffer zone between those outer zones and the curtain. To coordinate with curtain installation, again, which is ongoing right now, we are likely going to dose those outer zones first, give the curtain installation a chance to get completed. And once that's done, we will start dosing that area inside the curtain. Of those outer zones, each zone is about 155,000 square feet in area, about 3.5 acres. All told, the 4 zones are about 620,000 square feet, or about 14.25 acres. Each of those zones will require a little less than 1 full tote of alum to dose and about 3/4 of a tote caustic. And so to run through that again, starting with the outer zones, hopefully tomorrow afternoon, maybe as late as Wednesday morning, while curtain installation is complete. Then when the outer zones have been dosed, we will dose inside the curtain. Again, the intake is inside that area. Those are the totes that we're using. They hold about 300 gallons a piece. There's a better look at what we call the secondary zone, which is inside the curtain. Turbidity as of late yesterday afternoon was 23.3. That's down from a little more than 26 in about the span of a week. So it's coming down. Obviously, it's not dropping fast enough. And if everything goes well this week with the second round of in-reservoir treatment, that process will speed up. And we're still targeting between 1.5 and 2 NTUs as far as turbidity to begin our normal treatment and filtration process to start putting potable water back into the system. So we've got a really big week this week. Cross your fingers. Send us all the good energy that you could muster. We certainly appreciate it. We've got a lot of people doing a lot of amazing work to speed up this clearing process as quickly as possible. And as soon as we have an update on the turbidity, obviously, we will rush to communicate it. And I know you'll have questions for me after, but for now, I'm going to turn it over to Mark Bethany from Development Services.
Good morning, Mark Bethany, City of Asheville Development Services. I am honored to say the city staff has completed phase 2 of the building damage assessments. The assessment tells us a number of structures in the city that receive storm-related damage, and they have passed inspections, are safe to occupy, and have restricted areas, or they are unsafe to occupy. The assessment looked at both residential and commercial structures throughout the city, and the following combined numbers. 908 structures have passed inspection and are safe to occupy. You'll see that by a green card. 409 structures have damaged areas of the building that should be avoided, but the building is occupiable within the safe parts of the building. That's identified with a yellow tag. And 182 structures are unsafe to occupy, identified by a red tag. In flood zone areas, red and yellow tag buildings may be substantially damaged. Now, that substantial damage occurs when the value of the building to repair the building exceeds 50% the value of the structure. And that's not the property, that's the structure itself. And that value is identified either through the county tax appraiser records or can be gained by an independent property appraiser. Buildings and structures that exceed 50% the value of the building will have to comply with our current city ordinances and FEMA requirements. For substantially damaged structures, work to diminish the storm-related damage may take place. And the value of that work will be included in the total repair value, which will add up to that 50%. The Public Works Stormwater Flood Team can assist additionally with any detailed questions about substantially damaged or improved structures, and they can be reached at 828-259-5670. As work begins and continues throughout the structures that have received storm-related damage, please be sure to get a permit. Permits can be found at develop.asheville.nc.gov. While you get the permit, please remember to be contractor conscious. That means getting multiple quotes for your work if you can. Understand that all work above $40,000 requires a North Carolina general contractor. Make a contract for the work and get the scope of work in writing. Use licensed and insured contractors. If you have questions about contracting or permits, please contact our office at 828-259-5846. Additionally, you can call any of the contractor licensing boards, which includes the general contractors, the electrical contractors, the mechanical, plumbing, and fire sprinkler contractors. Contact information for any of these boards can be found doing an internet search. Thank you. And now back to City Manager Deborah Campbell.
So just a quick update on water and meal distribution. Distribution sites providing drinking water and meals ready to eat, or MREs, continue to be critical resources for many people in our community. County Manager Pender listed a few of those that are also in Asheville, but I'm just going to repeat them just in case. We are maintaining distribution sites from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Pack Square Park, 70 Court Plaza, Skylines Bowling Alley, 1477 Patton Avenue, Linwood Crump Shallow Community Center, 121 Shallow Road. And just to note that the Shallow location has bottled water and MREs, but no bulk water. Community care stations and distribution sites are co-located at 980 Brevard Road and 85 Tunnel Road. The Brevard Road location has an ADA accessible shower and restrooms. These sites will continue to distribute potable water in bottles as well as bulk non-potable water. As of this morning, our sites have distributed more than 1.5 million bottles of drinking water, 17,648 gallon jugs of potable water, 220,375 gallons of non-potable water, 140,000 meals ready to eat, and 1,247 blankets for warmth have been handed out. City services that have resumed beginning today, October 28th. After-school programs from 3 to 6 p.m. have resumed. Currently, we're only able to offer after-school program opportunities to students who were previously enrolled. For more information, please visit asheville.nc.gov/parks. The Asheville Municipal Golf Course will reopen the back 9 and the clubhouse today on October 28th. More information, including how to best access the course due to road closures in the immediate area, can be found at ashevillegc.com. Additionally, Ashton Park Tennis Center will reopen all 12 courts to the general public on Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. All play will be free until the internet is restored at the park. ART transit services. Yesterday, ART services resumed regularly scheduled hours for most bus routes. That's 5:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays and holidays. Please visit asheville.nc.gov/transit for more information. Also, please note that buses are no longer offering flag stops. Transit riders need to wait at a designated bus stop to board their bus. ART service will continue to be free of charge until further notice. Also, shuttle service is still providing transportation between the WNC ACT Center and American Red Cross shelters. Leaf collection. While city crews will not be collecting storm debris, and I want to repeat, city crews will not be collecting storm debris, our sanitation crews have begun collecting paper bag leaves starting today. We ask that everyone please consider waiting as long as you can to set out bags of leaves for collection. This will help us move as efficiently as we can through the ongoing storm debris removal process, which will be done by a private contractor. The city and its partners are advocating to the state and to the federal government for resources that we need for the community's long-term recovery. However, the city of Asheville has also identified existing resources that can be used as grants to support home repair, business restabilization, and rental assistance grants. At last week's city council meeting, nearly $4 million in existing city resources was approved to provide grants to businesses and residents that have been impacted by Helene. Our next step in activating these resources involves the identification of experienced nonprofit partner organizations to manage the distribution of these community grants. We hope to have nonprofit partners to administer these grant programs, and they will be selected, we hope, next week. And we will share additional details on grant programming as those partnerships are finalized. However, we know these local resources are not going to meet the magnitude of needs for our residents and business owners. We encourage residents to apply for individual assistance, funding through FEMA, and for businesses and individuals to pursue resources through the Small Business Administration. In closing, and as usual, I'd like to extend my continued thanks to the mayor and city council, all of our dedicated City of Asheville employees, our other partners in the county, state, and federal government, as well as our private and nonprofit partners who continue to work diligently to help our community recover. Thank you. And I'll turn it back over to you, Stacy.
And before we open it up to questions from our media partners, just wanted to issue a quick reminder about ADA accessible showers and restrooms. Those are ADA accessible sites are located at Brevard Road at the at-home store parking lot, Buncombe County Sports Park, Bethel United Methodist, Swananoa Ingalls, Owen Pool, and Morgan Hill Baptist Church. Again, those are our ADA accessible community care stations. Additionally, another note about our community care stations, Buncombe County Health and Human Services and the Public Health Mobile Team will be offering free COVID, DTaP, flu, Hep A vaccines at the community care stations on a rotating schedule throughout the week. They will be at the Swananoa Ingalls Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. They will be back there at the Swananoa Ingalls site on Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. They will be at the Buncombe County Sports Park Monday and Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And lastly, they will be at Innsbruck Mall Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And with that, we will open it up to questions from our media partners on the phone, on the call.
Hey, this is John Boyle with Asheville Watchdog. I have a couple questions for Clay and one for Mark Matheny after that.
Morning, John.
Good morning, Clay. Hope you're doing all right. On the curtain installation, do you know how long that will take approximately?
We think it'll take between 24 and 36 hours, which is why we're given the timeline of maybe late tomorrow afternoon to actually get application started. Never having done this before, we're kind of learning as we go. The good news is we did buy the curtains, so they're ours. If we ever need them again, they'll be on site. So we are learning just like everybody else is as this process moves along.
Okay. And on turbidity, I know that you gave that new number, so it is dropping some. I know this will not be a linear decline in turbidity, but do you have any idea, or have you heard from the curtain manufacturers or folks that know about these things, how much they should drop turbidity, say like this week or in the next week?
So that's all like case by case. No two reservoirs are the same. The elements in them are going to be different. The elements around them are going to be different. We do know that they have been extremely effective in some of the other areas where they've been used. But again, never having used them here, never having done this, like I said, we're going to kind of learn about this process as we move along.
Okay. And the on turbidity, any idea on the aluminum sulfate drop, how much that might be expected to drop it?
I'm not sure I understand the question, John.
On the spreading the aluminum sulfate in there over a period of days, do y'all have a target in mind for how much that will drop the NTUs?
So our target is to complete treatment by either late Friday, early Saturday. And I think during the first round, within 48 or so hours, we had a general idea about how effective it was going to be. So using that timeline, Monday, maybe Tuesday of next week, we should have a pretty good idea of how effective it was.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get at if between the two of those, you could see a 10 NTU drop or something like that, if y'all have any idea.
We would love to be able to say that with certainty. I wish we could, but that's just a total unknown right now.
Okay. All right. And when they spread that stuff on the boat, is it spread with like a sprayer or how's that done?
It is. It's a spray application.
Okay.
The boat has, like the photo I saw of the boat has spray rigs on the front and on the sides. And I don't know that all of them work at the same time, but I know at various points in the treatment process, they're all being used. But yeah, it is a spray
Okay.
application.
Okay. And if other folks have questions for you, you may as well stay up there. But I have one more from Mark. But
Okay.
people like to ask you questions, you know.
I figured that out.
We do. Hey, Clay, it's Laura at
Morning.
BPR. Do you have any expectation about weather shift affecting this treatment or the plan for this week?
So the weather forecast for this week is actually pretty favorable. There are no serious windy conditions. I know that can change quickly, especially this time of year in the mountains. No real chance of rain in the forecast, so we're not looking at additional runoff or anything like that. We're cautiously optimistic that the weather will cooperate this week because based on the forecast right now, it looks like it should.
And then you're saying we probably know by the weekend if it's effective. If it's effective at, like, let's say what John said, it drops at 10, then is the plan to do another one of these treatments, hoping to drop it again? And if it's not, what's the next plan? Because I think you've said before that maybe that you'd have to change course.
Yeah, I mean, it's not completely out of the question that we do a third round, especially if the second round is particularly effective. I mean, if it shows it's going to drop the turbidity, let's just say 8 points in a week, I don't see how we couldn't do a third round if it worked that well.
And if it doesn't, what are the alternatives?
We will continue working with Army Corps of Engineers and other outside contractors to come up with alternative treatment methods.
And just for good measure, because we haven't asked you in a while, a timeline or a timeline for a timeline?
Both currently unavailable.
We had an additional question from the chat about turbidity. Are you still seeing that strange phenomenon of the lower portion of the reservoir clearing before the top? Is there any change to that?
So we're taking turbidity measurements at our 21-foot intake. The last lake profile we did, I think, was a week ago today, where it showed the middle sort of clearing up faster than the top. I would hate to speculate if that's still happening. I see no reason why it shouldn't be. But since we're measuring at 21 foot right now, those are the numbers we're going by. But I mean, if we do a lake profile today or tomorrow and we see that middle bottom is starting to clear up faster than the top, we can certainly use our intake to draw from 50 feet or 80 feet.
One more, Clay. People are asking questions about how this treatment might affect the output of metals in the water. Can you speak to that?
Sure. So that's why we posted on our website the real-time test results for things like aluminum, iron, and manganese. I don't think we have exceeded the maximum contamination limit for aluminum. I know iron and manganese have slightly exceeded the recommendations from the EPA. So that's why we were sort of proactive in getting our test results posted on the website so people can look at that, take in all the information, and then, sort of make the decision about whether or not if they want to use it for things like showering or consumption or whatever. And while we're on consumption, yeah, we are under a boil water notice. And if you're going to use it for consumption, it does need to be boiled for 1 minute beforehand. Bottled water obviously is ideal if that's available. All right, John, here comes Mark for your question.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, John.
Hey, Mark. Hope you're doing well. I was hoping you could just maybe clarify this or go through this again on structures that have 50% damage or more, as far as the value of the building. Were you saying that they could do stabilization work, but they could not do like a restoration project?
It's yeah, so at that point it takes, it takes a team to work together. So the owner is going to look at their contractor, their structural engineers, and that sort of thing. So we definitely would encourage stabilization and getting certainly the storm related damage, whether it's just water infiltration in building materials, but also if there's structurally related damage, certainly the longevity of that building is better the quicker that that's taken care of. But I just want to make sure that people realize that even though that's needed work, whether it's foundation work or just doing the building material removal and replacement, if that's possible, then that will still all be accumulated to that 50% value.
Okay. Because a concern I've heard from some people is that some of these buildings that have more than 50% damage or heavy damage are just going to have to be torn down. But that's not exactly what you're saying. It sounds like they would just have to formulate a plan on possibly rebuilding, and that would require more extensive permitting and planning.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
putting words in your mouth?
No, that's the perfect way to say it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Are there any additional questions?
Yeah, Stacy, it's Laura at BPR again. We had reports of water outages at several of the places where people were supposed to be able to get water distribution. I know you answered that by email as to one of those locations. Is it only true at that one, and how is it being addressed?
Yes, thanks for the question, Laura. And responded to you immediately to say that I was not aware of any water outages at those locations, but then discovered that we did have a lapse in water distribution out at the Buncombe County Sports Park. I'm not aware of additional sites where that was an issue, but we are looking into it and continuing to work through our logistics coordination for these sites all over the county. And we'll keep you posted on that process and any additional outages as we are made aware of them.
Stacy, I have one question you might be able to answer. I had a reader ask me if y'all have any idea how many people of the unhoused population were affected by the storm or displaced or possibly loss of life. Have you seen any figures on that?
I have not, John.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Stacey, do you know if there will be made public the names of the victims from the storm? I know we've had listing from the medical examiner's office, but that does not give identities. Is that something on a county basis or the sheriff's office?
What's that? Yes, Laura, thank you for that question. We are gonna be talking about that process here soon, and we will let you know when we come up with the details of how that information will be released.
Okay, but it will be released soon.
I don't have a timeline and I don't have additional information about that process.
Okay, and one last question about debris processing. When you say, or the city says that the debris is being processed, can you just detail what that means a little bit? Does it involve burning? We've had some concerns about what processing means.
Campbell is on her way.
You did say the city, and we will not be burning at all in the city. Believe that it is illegal to burn debris in the city limits. And so the processing process will involve actually kind of packaging and sealing the debris in order for it to be hauled off. And that will be for metals and those kinds of things, but for vegetative debris, it will be ground or grinded, or whatever the term is, in order to reduce the bulk of the material, again, to be hauled off. And I'll let county.
Thanks for the question, Laura. In the county, we are looking at some opportunity to burn. We're investigating what we're calling curtain burning. That way we know we have a lot of debris and we can't process it all in our landfill. And to Deborah's point, we will grind some and make almost like mulch and shred it like mulch. So that's some of it, but the rest of it, we're talking about what sites can we utilize for curtain burning. Any other questions? Not hearing any, I'll turn it back to Stacy.
We have one more for Clay. Clay, we're getting a lot of questions from the community about why the turbidity in the North Fork is so much worse than seemingly other reservoirs in our area.
So I can't speak for the turbidity of other reservoirs in the area. I can tell you that the reason other water systems in Western North Carolina are able to treat their water is because City of Asheville, our filter system at North Fork is one of two in North Carolina. I forget where the other one is. It's called direct filtration systems. And so we don't have a way to shake out sediment from our water because we normally don't need it. Upgraded filters with the ability to do that have been in our strategic plan for a few years now. It's obviously very, very expensive, like 9 figures expensive. So yeah, that's the reason some water systems in North Carolina with sediment basins attached to their filters can treat turbid water and we cannot.
Okay, if there are no more questions in the chat, we will conclude today's briefing. Just wanted to let you know, though, that this week we will have community briefings through Thursday. They will remain at 11 a.m. We will not have a community briefing on Friday, this coming Friday, due to a Board of Commissioners special meeting that is scheduled at the same time. For information on the Helene resources and response, please continue to visit buncombeready.org, or you can call the call center at 828-250-6100. Thank you and have a great day.